The take home is for us to use the African Charter on Democracy, Election and Governance to make sure that we develop, we include people in the design of the policies that can also ensure the gender responsive public service. We also want us to use the guideline, the charter, to ensure that it guides all the election processes in Nigeria. The 31 countries in Africa has, agreed to this charter, but only Togo reported that they have actually used the charter. What we want for Nigerian government is for us to domesticate this charter, let it be part of our law, and use it for election guidelines so that before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections, we'll be able to report this to the African Union that we also domesticated it and we're using it to guide our election processes.
Generally, this exercise is about looking at the processes, the institutions for democracy, for elections, and for governance to take place. There is a charter, an African charter on democracy, elections, and that was enacted by the AU that Nigeria has ratified. So, what we are trying to do is looking at that charter and its provisions, and then comparing it with the processes and the steps that we are taking and that we have taken as a country to ensure whether we are in compliance with a charter that we signed on to or not. And what we have seen is that in terms on paper, and in terms of what I can call processes, okay, we have actually made a lot of progress as a nation. So the electoral management body, in terms of the reform of the electoral management body, in terms of even broadening the space for less than 35% women in the National Assembly of Rwanda, for example, because the law has provided, for that. And for youths, we can also have a similar provision. And we have recommended you have 30%, that your candidate list, minimum of your candidates across the board, 30% youths. Again, when you now look at the youths, these youths, again, you look at it, no gender should be less than 40% amongst that youth list, and no gender should be higher than 60% among that youth list. And you do the same thing for people living with disability, 10%. But in reality, and this is where citizens matter, this is where Nigerian citizens have a role to play, the biggest threat to our democracy is the political elite.